I'd like to, first of all, thank each of you for coming tonight. It's December 10th, 2020. Um, and we are starting a little bit late at 7:17. And I hereby call the meeting to order for Economic Development Commission. So please let me confirm those members and staff who are going to be participants that and can hear me. I'll be asking each participant to identify themselves so I can place your name next to your call in line. So each person is here that I can see, and we should be in good shape with that. So we have Mary Hall. Can you hear me, Mary?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. Herman Oliveira.
Right here.
Yes, he is here. Thank you. Lauren Hubble.
Here.
Thank you. We have our new member, Mr. James Goldstein. So we thank him for helping us tonight and joining our group. We'll get to him in just a second. I just have to do the rest of this lingo. Is there any other members?
I'm here too.
Oh, Christine,
I'm
of
here
course,
too.
Christine Wittenauer is here. I apologize. She's the one working so diligently trying to keep this going. Thank you, Christine. I didn't see you.
Sure.
But I knew that. Did I miss anyone from there then? Okay. So I hereby declare that we have a quorum and call this meeting to order. You know, a copy of the agenda and the related materials have been posted and can be found at the town's website, www.monroect.org, for public inspection. And the public meeting is being conducted remotely in compliance with Section 1 of Governor Lamont's Executive Order Number 7B, dated March 14, 2020, using GoToMeeting electronic conferencing technology. And using this technology, the public should participate in real time in this meeting via computer, tablet, smartphone, or telephone using the access information set forth on the meeting agenda. Please be advised that each meeting has unique participation information, so please be sure that you have the correct meeting. Notice is hereby given that only 250 participants may access this remote electronic public meeting at any one time. Access to this meeting using this technology is granted solely by the technology provider on the first access basis and is not controlled by the town of Monroe. While it is anticipated that we will not exceed this participation limit, should there appear to be approaching that limit, the public is denied access for whatever reason, the chairman reserves the right to adjourn and continue the meeting to a later date using technology appropriate to ensure all members of the public have participation. Please take notice regarding the remote electronic public meeting that this meeting is being conducted in real time and that this meeting is open to the public, that any member of the public may listen or view this meeting anonymously, and that this meeting is being recorded. And while we ask that you mute your microphones unless recognized to speak, that anything you say, do, or is displayed on your screen may become part of the recording. That the recording shall be posted to the town's website within 7 days, and that this recording shall be made available to the public within a reasonable time. So this meeting shall follow standard parliamentary procedures, as you know. So again, mute your microphone, please, to reduce background noise. Prior to speaking on each occasion, if each speaker could clearly state their name, that would be important. And the use of the chat feature is prohibited, and we will not be considered during the meeting at this time. Except for the meeting will allow public participation, and so written comments from the public between the dates posted through 1 hour before the start of this meeting is accepted. So I shall read all written comments received, which we've received none. Written information relative to the business set forth by the agenda may do so upon 1 hour in advance of this meeting via electronic mail to the address set forth on this meeting agenda. Okay, so we're almost there. The ground rules. So we now turn to the first item on the agenda, and before we do so, allow me to cover some ground rules of this remote meeting to ensure effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure an accurate recording. I will introduce from the agenda each item. If a vote is anticipated, I will ask for a motion in a second. After the introduction of the matter, upon the motion, I will invite each member by name for a discussion. After all members have had an opportunity to speak for the first time, I'll repeat the invite for each member in the same order until there is no further comment. So please hold your comments until all are recognized. Everyone will have an equal opportunity to speak. And upon the conclusion of this discussion, I will call for a vote of the said motion, if applicable. Okay, and all votes taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. So please remember to mute your phone, as we've mentioned now 4 or 5 times, and please remember to speak clearly, which we've mentioned that 3 times. That helps generate the accurate recording and the minutes. Okay. Okay. So at this time, we will start our meeting. All participants are asked to disconnect from the meeting at all other participants are asked to disconnect from this meeting at this time. If you fail to disconnect, you'll be disconnected by the moderator. We will not start we're not even doing an executive session. I'm sorry. This is talking about executive sessions, which we do not have. So I can skip over that. Apologize. I think we have all of them covered. Come out of executive session. Okay, no. So we may begin the meeting. So our first business, point of business, is to welcome everybody and wish everyone a great holiday to come in the very near future. Thanks for squeezing us in tonight. We are honored to meet our newly elected Mr. James Goldstein, who's joining our commission, and we're very happy to have him on board. And it looks like, according to the town council minutes, was that his tour of duty goes until January 31st, 2049. No, I take that back. 2022. Sorry, Jim. Didn't mean to give you a heart attack. So again, I give the floor to Jim. We all welcome you. And why don't you just tell us a little bit about your background so we can be at all with you. And again, thank you for volunteering for the town of Monroe to help us with our economic development.
Oh, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this. You know, I lived in town of Monroe coming up almost on 15 years this upcoming April. I now reside at Northbrook Condos right off of Pepper Street. I have 2 boys. They both went to STEM. One goes to Fawn Hollow. And I own a local business in town. For the last 28 years, I've owned this company. I own a local entertainment DJ company. If anybody has been to St. Jude's Festival over the last 25 years, you have seen me perform and play. That is me. I'm there every single evening. Done a lot for the schools and for the town overall. I'm also a realtor at William Ravis Real Estate Agency, and I love our town. Of course, we're a wonderful, wonderful town. So I want to really take part and help. You will see me quite a bit. Parade. I'm also a Shriner. I drive one of those little go-karts in the parade, wear one of the funny hats. So I believe in giving back. My thing is you get out of it what you put into it. So I had a few conversations, and like everybody else here, we all want to see our town thrive. We want to see it better, and we want to make smart, really great, fun choices. So I'm welcome and to join this. So thank you very much.
Well, no, thank you very much. Maybe we could just introduce each other then to Jim, so he has an understanding who we are. And again, maybe we can start with Lauren Hubble, only because I see her on the screen here in front of me. She's another realtor you probably already maybe know. I'm not sure.
Hi, Jim. Welcome.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi there.
Yep. And we have Mary Hall.
Hi, Mary.
Hey, Jim, welcome to the committee. Okay, I've been on for just under a year right now, so we've had some challenges with COVID, but hopefully 2021 will give us an opportunity to work with the businesses a little bit more energetically than we have been able to this past year.
Sure.
I see Herman's here as well. Herman Oliveira.
How's it going, Jim? Herman Oliveira here. I
I've seen,
believe,
I've seen
yeah.
you with town, so I know who you are.
yeah. And you've also done the Fawn Hollow functions, and yeah. So you probably know my wife, Rachel Oliveira.
I do, yes.
So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good, good. We've had the pleasure of Bill and Ken Kellogg has joined us, I see. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Ray. How are you?
And you know Jim, of course, I assume.
Well, of course, I always meet people before I appoint them to commissions, boards and commissions. So, and I've also run into James at other events that he's been working at. So, my honor to make the appointment.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then, of course, we have Bill is here, Holsworth. I think he's on the call with us now.
I am. I'm here, Ray. Welcome, James.
Okay, good.
to the commission.
Thank you, Bill, so very much. Thank you.
Yep. So great. So again, we can begin with more of the approval of the previous minutes as they've been published. If I can get a motion and a second, that'd be great. Mary makes a motion.
I motion to approve them.
Great. Okay, thank you, Lauren. As a matter of fact, I'm glad we said that because we have to take minutes tonight. So I guess I'll take these minutes for this meeting as we go forward. Great. Thank you very much. We have a second by Lauren. All in favor for approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, great. The minutes have been approved. Thank you. We did introduce Jim already, so thank you for that. And then we also have on our agenda, we wanted to just talk a little bit because of the COVID situation right now, as we're all so well aware of, unfortunately, and it seems to be climbing. Someone told me today that I guess it was announced on the news broadcast that they lost more people in the country today than 9/11 for the today alone, which is daunting. It's kind of eerie. But let's hope that this is going to stymie itself eventually. But it has an impact on our ribbon cuttings for our businesses. We've got an awful lot of fantastic small business owners that we're trying to jumpstart and kick off. So Bill, maybe you could touch on that. You and I spoke of sort of the parameters that we have to work within right now on ribbon cuttings. So we have curtailed our enthusiasm to do so because of these tough times. But maybe we can go over this topic for 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, thanks, Ray. So the ribbon cuttings are a little bit more problematic at the moment because of the increased restrictions that are part of the COVID rules. So we're allowed to have, as part of phase 2.1, we're allowed to have 25 people indoor and 50 people outdoor. We're not saying no to ribbon cuttings. Most of the businesses so far are not looking to have ribbon cuttings. Noble Gas wants to have a ribbon cutting, and we're going to have a conversation with them to see if we can do it more in the sense of a photo opportunity where we can get a couple of people there, but we definitely want to stay well below the COVID limits. Private events at private residences are even smaller. So other businesses that might want to have a ribbon cutting that are smaller in nature, those are capped at 10 people.
Right.
So Bill,
Right.
Bill, this is Mary Hall. Is there any way that we could think out of the box and maybe do something like a virtual ribbon cutting so we could, so more of us could participate? Just some food for thought.
Yeah, I'll definitely give that some thought. I'm not against that. I'm not sure how it would work. I'm not sure how it would work to set up a
I
a
mean,
virtual.
Well, it's all part of the ribbon cutting experience that we won't be able to do virtually, and that'd be a challenge, you know.
I think if it's, I think if it's something that if the business owner was something, something that they would embrace, I mean, anything we can do to support them, I'm fine with. But I think what we've all been trying to understand is that, the reason for the ribbon cutting is to get people there, and it kind of goes against the entire, the entire thought process of the governor's orders to not have as many people there. So that's what we're just trying to balance out. But I'd be fine. I'll let you guys, dig into those things. I think it's, it's a good suggestion to kind of see if a business would embrace that. If they think they would have some value. But I feel bad because the whole point of it is to get people there, right? And to have
Right, kick the tires, right?
have a party, so to speak. And that's the kind of environment that we can't promote.
I mean,
But Ken, this is Mary Hall again, and I'm just announcing myself for the recording. I understand that, the purpose of the ribbon cuttings is to get everyone there that can be there. And, I have not gone to the last couple because of COVID and the restrictions and my age bracket and whatever. And I'm following COVID. I don't want to get sick. Okay. I don't want to bring it into my family, but I also feel very strongly for the new businesses and, giving them a thumbs up virtually with the ribbon cutting, and then maybe doing something, into 2021 for all the new businesses that opened up during COVID, okay, is even a bigger applause for them. So, Bill, if there's something that we could do virtually, I'd be glad to help you out and organize it. But I think it's important that the new businesses see the members of the EDC there, supporting them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I fully agree with that. Let's see if we can figure out a way to do the ribbon cuttings virtually. But that's one of the things that we had discussed only a couple of weeks ago in other meetings, the idea of the photo opportunity to be able to get it paper, to be able to get those kind of things out there from a marketing standpoint.
this is
Right,
Herman Olivera. And I mean, drive-by birthdays have become a real big thing.
Yeah.
Did we ever consider doing a drive-by ribbon cutting where at least we're celebrating, waving, I really think that we could, I think it's very easy to organize, and I think it could be safely shot from a safe distance, and we could document that. It's just our way of welcoming, new businesses into town, along with I'm all for the virtual idea
Right.
as well, but I think we could all do it from a car. It just be
Actually,
in.
Actually, you could combine the ideas, and we could just broadcast the drive-by on like Facebook Live or something.
The birthdays have been a real hit. I know my daughter, we had to sacrifice her birthday this year in April. It was like really like in the, at the peak of things, but it was a beautiful thing to see the community just come together and do a parade. I think we could do the same thing with businesses.
Yeah, and then again, we also spoke about the photo op. Is that maybe we can get Ken there and a couple people to just do a ribbon, perceived ribbon cutting, just so we can go and do press releases to let the public know that these businesses have kicked off. They have their CO. They're ready to go to action. And I think we can do that as well on a one-off where it's staged completely. But I like the idea of all the fun with passing by. I think that would be great too. But so that's what we're trying to do. Approach it from a three-pronged perspective would be a good idea.
Yes, yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to add to that. Some of the fun things that I've been seeing, like in my industry with weddings and parties, everything being on hold, is smaller gatherings and just the photo op. The selfies. When we can promote within our town, we have so many great Facebook groups And if we could just reach out to them and say, hey, Noble Gas is now open. Go stop by there on Saturday and, take a picture of yourself, hashtag it, post it on social media. And if you look at some of our great businesses like Broad and Brush, for instance, who post consistently, when you look at Benedict's and they're constantly posting, these are the companies that are reaching out to the community. And if we could do the same with just a photo says 1,000 words. If we could get somebody to also post a video, people will read and watch a video versus reading a post. It's just a proven fact. So that's something that we can really kind of do overall as a community, embrace that as a ribbon cutting going, even if we had 2 of us show up distance, we do a 6-foot red ribbon, the owner cuts it in half, we get that photo, we post that, and then all of a sudden all the customers go there for the weekend, and maybe we do a promo. And I'm not saying give something away, but the promo is, what we bring to the community, the smiles, the joy. We're opening a business during COVID, and it could be a really good, fun publicity for not only the business, but our town overall, just to build up morale.
Right. It adds momentum. That's right. I agree. No, thank you, Jim. Yeah, good feedback. So, all right. So we'll have to, see what's on the parade. I know that, Noble was one. I've also spoke to Jenny's. They're opening their new room in January. So Al has approached me and said, is there a way you could help us kick off our new room, which they've spent almost the whole entire year of this year putting together. So I think it's going to be, I have seen it already. It's coming out gorgeous. It's not 100% done, but it's probably 90% done. But it's coming out gorgeous. So he'd like to have help with that in January. So we certainly can use that as as an opportunity to try these different approaches and help him kick off in January. I think he said, it's just gonna be soon after the new year. So, within the next couple of weeks after that, I think is what he's shooting for. So we can follow up with him on those ideas and try to put this together, So we'll work
They
on
did a
that.
good job last night with raising money for the robotics team at Mastic. They gave a portion of the proceeds of the family meal deals. Jenny did
Oh,
a good
okay.
job with that yesterday.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's a great. That is a great opportunity that they offer there. Jim and I were talking about before we started. Yeah, it is great. I was getting my meal there tonight, as a matter of fact. So I was just finished swallowing. Great. So I think we can explore that, and again, maybe we'll tap on you, Jim, with your great knowledge of this, creating these kind of experiences to try to help us move that along. And so again, we'll talk about Noble and Jenny's, because those are the 2 that I can speak of right now that are really interested in trying to do something sooner than later. Unless somebody else has any other ideas of other businesses that'll be doing such a thing, so keep us in mind. I know that our Autumn in Monroe is still moving along. We have another couple weeks for this to culminate. So we've had some good traction with it. Anybody have any feedback or discussion on the Autumn in Monroe campaign? We do have our signs out there, as you saw, about supporting our Monroe businesses. Those are in as part of the lawn signs. They're out there. So those are still functioning, and hopefully people are respectful of that. What else do we hear about Autumn in Monroe?
Hey, Ray, it's Christine.
Yes,
Can you hear
Christine.
me?
Yes.
Okay. I received, or I don't know if all of you received, but the Kindred Spirits, they want to put up a holiday brochure. Maybe we can tweak it a little
Great.
bit instead of Autumn in Monroe. Maybe we could do Holiday in Monroe or something along those lines and continue in that spirit, and then just have new updated flyers, and we can post those on social media through the EDC site and all the various social medias.
Yeah, that might be a good idea, because people are certainly zoned in on the holidays now for the next 3 weeks. That's for sure.
this is Herman Oliveira again. I still think that we need to tie any and all of these events to some worthy cause, because the Monroe residence page alone is slaying it when it comes to, now it's merriment in Monroe and everyone's sharing photos. There's people, I guess there's another promotion where you wear a crown wherever you're going, you take a photo, and it's actually raising money and awareness for the pantry and other, I believe there's another organization involved in there. But I think the only way that these campaigns are ever going to work is if we could really motivate the people to, have a little fun and tie it to something like the pantry, if we could.
Well, to pick up, like Lisa Pinto has done the crown. She's done a phenomenal job. Any group you open in Monroe, she is on it. She really is. I know Mike Ganino has done a very fine job with his committee with the Light Up Monroe for the playground. And I have to be honest, you drive around Monroe and it feels good. It just really feels good. All the lights and everybody, all the hard work they put into it. There is not a light in the Home Depot shelf. The lights are completely desolate. They're all sold out. There's not even a decoration. And it just goes to show you that, even during this pandemic, how much as a town that we kind of want to grow together. So you're right. We need to tie it into something. And I know part of it. Yeah.
Barb Farr was the one that actually led the whole Monroe residence page before the whole crown. That was just that was added on to that. But I just wanted to make note of that she was the one that kick started this whole thing. That's separate from the lights, but I'm talking.
Yeah, that's right. The only reason I read Miss Elisa Pinto is because she's always on there with the crown, tagging somebody at CardSmart or wherever. And I just saw a post a few minutes ago pop up that, Mike was doing something with the Light Up, and I know part of the funds. I think it's some of the houses have put out boxes for the food pantry at some of the Light Up displays. I know Admiral Drive is one of them. They put out a food box. So that's really good for the food pantry.
It's a beautiful thing what's going on there. We went out on Sunday. We had our map, and we were hitting up all the houses, and it's really nice to see how many other cars are following along as well, which is really neat. So we could get the community together. The community is really motivated to help local businesses and just raise the spirit. And I think we have to start thinking along those lines, where how do we tap into all of this and have some sort of a fundraiser to really motivate the people.
Oh, hi everybody, it's James Goldstein again. I'm sorry. But one thing to do would be, why don't we do at random times? I don't want to say a poker run, but like that type of concept where somebody goes to one business and they get, kind of acknowledgement for it, and they go, if they complete 5 businesses, they get this. If they go to 10 businesses, they do that. Something along those lines, and we could develop that more as we go along. But there could be something great for the community, and just overall, I don't want to say like a hole punch, but something of the acknowledgement. And between social media and everything else with these businesses, we really could do something to kind of promote, a list of businesses where all of a sudden, here's 5, 10, 20 businesses, and however many you go to, we randomly pick a winner, and Dewdrop gives a cappuccino for the day, or somebody else gives a slice of pizza, or whatever it could possibly be. Maybe Mason Jar gives 5% off, whatever it could be. I mean, it could be something kind of fun, but at the same time like this, with everybody committing into the community.
No, it's true. It's a good idea. It's a great idea. We did try to do a couple of those kind of formats, but we sort of got wiped out with COVID. When we did one for St. Patty's Day, we had a great one that we were planning, just like you're discussing, about going from establishment to establishment with using the St. Patty's Day hats and the passports to validate. We had prizes that we went out and solicited for to give away, raffle prizes and whatnot for people, and they were going to go to each store and pull a prize out of the St. Patty's Day hat. But of course, COVID came the day before, literally, and we had to cancel the next day. We thought we could squeeze it in, but it just ramped up just too swiftly on us, and we felt it was time we had a cave on that, which is unfortunate. Yeah, but those are the kind of things we really could do and have some fun with. You're right, and get people to get behind it would be phenomenal. So,
Ray, this is Mary Hall speaking.
yes,
So, one of the things, going forward on what I said about, the new businesses that opened up during COVID, doing something for them, and they, once the restrictions and all lift, okay, for the next meeting, maybe we could all put on our thinking caps and come with some ideas
yeah,
and present them, okay, of what we could do as a follow-up to what we were going to do with Monroe Business Appreciation Day,
right.
what we could do with the follow-up with Autumn in Monroe, and really do a spring forward, okay, event, okay, to really applaud the businesses for sticking with us, okay, sticking with themselves even, okay, through this time, and really showing some acknowledgement. I know we're not going to solve it here, and we don't have the time for it today. It's not on the agenda, but I think it should go on next month's agenda, and we should all come forward with some creative ideas. Okay. So
Yeah,
if
no,
we
I
could
agree.
put that on
No,
for the next agenda, I think that would be great.
no, that's a good idea.
Ray?
And we, next month is going to be already the new
I
year
think
already,
Ken
believe
wants
that.
to say something. I think Ken wanted to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go
No,
ahead.
that's okay. Ken Kellogg, thank you, Mary. I'm sorry to, Ray, I didn't mean to interrupt. I literally was just going to try to interject that I actually need to get off and deal with another matter. But I wanted to just take a moment and say thank you to this group. I haven't been able to make the last few of your meetings because of other conflicts, but I'm appreciative of all the work that you guys are doing to just help our community, our business community particularly. So, and I wish you all a really happy holiday. And if there's anything, you have any questions for me before I jump off, I got like a minute and a half before I need to I gotta deal with another issue. So,
No, that's okay. No, thank you for coming, Ken.
all right.
And
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
all right, have a
Thanks.
good holiday.
Happy holidays. Take care.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Ken.
You too.
Okay, so Ray, can we come forward? Once again, this is
Yep.
Mary Hall speaking. So let's
Yes.
get on the agenda for the next
Right.
meeting. We devote some time just to brainstorming something with what we could do, something creative. Okay.
Yeah, well, again, and I think what we'll do is, which brings us to the next agenda item, is our meeting dates. We've been meeting the second Thursday of each month. Again, I hope that still works for everybody. That's what we sort of have plugged in for 2021. It works in concert with all of the other commissions that are going on, especially with this go-to-meeting status. The town has only 2 licenses, so only 2 meetings can be using this privilege. So it's not easy to flip-flop, Mondays to Thursdays and Wednesdays and so forth, because a lot of other commissions are meeting to use this tool right now. When we ever go back to live meetings, that might make a difference. But so I don't know, is there any objections to staying with the second Thursday for our meetings at 7 p.m.?
So the second Thursday works, but we're going to continue to use Zoom until this restrictions in this pandemic stops.
Yeah.
I personally am not going to go do a group meeting until I know that it is safe.
Right. No, and then we understand that, of course. Yeah, that's what we're going to do the same. So, I'm just saying, so whether we're go to or go live, every second Thursday should suffice for everybody. That's okay. Jim, is that okay with you?
That works perfectly fine for me. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah, so again, what we probably want to do in January, to the best of our ability, is talk about these ideas. We'll take the biggest chunk of our agenda for that purpose, and also set up our calendar for the year, because we already have a few ideas that we can execute on that we couldn't pull off this year. Maybe next year will be better. We have the commercial brokers luncheon that we had to also cancel, which was in June of this year. You know, and we could not do that. It's you know, Jim, that's a you know, the commercial brokers come to town and we try to demonstrate what kind of properties we have available, so forth and so on. And it's a great group to host to, trying to bring prospects to our town as we demonstrate, you know, the abilities and the capacities we have for different type of properties, whether it's a, you know, B1, B2, whatever, and the kind of size scope of the properties and so forth. So we had one 2 years ago. We were planning on doing this annually, and then of course with the COVID in June, it got whisked away from us. So again, we're going to assume that we can by June hopefully get back to some scale of getting together, but we don't know if that's going to happen. But we have to plan on that as though it will be available to us, and try to get these things lined up. So between, you know, what was it called with the St. Patty's Day? Was it what was it called? Meet Monroe or no?
It was Monroe Business Appreciation Day. So
That's
Ray,
right.
can we put on the agenda for next month also the you know, what's it called, that realtors or that
Yeah, the commercial
real estate
brokers.
day?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
put that on the agenda for next meeting too, so that we can talk about even if we're going to do it, because I think
Right.
we want to do it, but it's going to depend on if we're allowed to do it.
Well, that's that's right.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
But at the same time, yes, we can try to, you know, make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row to get ready for it if we can go forward, you know. And so let's see what happens. Now there again too, they are doing their meetings with a Zoom. So I am on their calls every month. So we still could take the lead on that, because the gentleman who runs that organization is always looking for speakers. You know, so if we can't do the live meeting, maybe we'd want to still take the ball and run with it as far as, you know, introducing Monroe and keeping it top of mind, you know. So yes, we will definitely do that. Thank you, Mary. Absolutely. I know that Bill went to a roundtable discussion, which was very informative. Did you want to recap that for us, Bill?
Sure. I wish I had my notes on that roundtable discussion with me.
Oh, okay. I have it on the agenda. I saw it, so I said, okay. But you could just give us a 5-sentence.
It was a roundtable discussion at a Connecticut municipality conference that was a lot of EDC members, some first selectmen, and tax assessors were all there. And what they talked about was the needs in the community. They talked about sending out questionnaires to the community to get a needs analysis done. There were only a handful of communities that had done such a thing, but they were talking about the successes that they had with those needs analysis. And we're going to share some of the questions that they were asking on that in that survey, and then how they respond to it. They talked a lot about the planning and zoning rules. They talked about how those rules need to be friendly for businesses and how municipalities need to focus on attracting new businesses, keeping the businesses they have, allowing for expansion. They talked about some of the tax incentives that could be offered for businesses that are either existing or new to the town, and how those tax incentives might be structured in order for it to be beneficial for those businesses to come to town. They talked about partnering with real estate agents in regards to finding and locating commercial properties. So as part of that needs assessment, defining if a business is going to expand and how much are they going to expand by and what they might need, whether it be loading docks and garage bays, what properties might be available in town, if there's empty land that could build to suit, where the zoning regulations fit in. So it was literally a roundtable discussion about what all the towns were doing to address all of those issues, and all of those concerns within each of their communities.
Yeah, no, that's great.
I wish I had notes so I can give you a little bit more detail on it, but
No, that's fine. No, thank you for sharing. I'm glad you were able to attend and you know, grab some good information and bring it back home. That's good stuff.
yeah, that conference was virtual too, for all of you wondering. I wasn't anywhere exotic and warm.
Yeah, no, I'm sure not, yeah. Except in your office, maybe, that's about it.
But there are things in my office.
Well, I want to also mention, during this COVID time, and again, I can't thank each of you enough, truthfully, for the commitment and the dedication. I know it's been a very sporadic year with this spittering and sputtering we've sort of had to experience because of this virus thing, how much we can do, can't do, what got pulled off the table, the best laid plans got annihilated. So it's been a struggle, as so many businesses have. But I'm telling you, and I come to this table and tell you every night, or every month rather, on how much activity is going on. It's really incredibly good. So COVID has not slowed down um, the momentum that we have in our town. And you probably keep saying, well, Ray, you keep saying that, but I don't understand what you're talking about. Excuse me. Last night the inlands and wetlands met because that's where a lot of these projects start, as you know, to get those approvals before they go to the P&Z. And last night, again, another session, which I want to say the last 4 sessions for the last 4 months have all concluded around quarter to 11 to 11 o'clock at night. They start at 7. They go on for 4 solid hours, talking about the projects that are pending, the opportunities that are coming. And last night was no exception to that. Okay. There was, I know I brought to the attention of this group about a year and a half ago, a gentleman out of Bridgeport that I connected with, who has a stone slicing business. The little stone slabs that you do veneers with, which, is no longer, well, not no longer, they still use concrete ones, the artificial stones that they make and color them to try to do facades on buildings. Well, now what's more popular than that is actually using real stones. And what they do is they slab them. They slab them 2 inches thick, thereabouts. And then, that flat finish is what goes on to a substrate. And that's how you get a nice facade on the front of your house or a cinder block wall that you want to gussy up. That's what they do. So this material is extremely popular right now because who doesn't love real stone? That concrete stone hasn't worked out so well. It chips and you can't patch it. It loses its color from the ultraviolet lights and the weather, and then it goes to gray because it's concrete. So you really can't fix that either. So this became favorable, and it's in high demand for a lot of projects now. Anyway, last night the inland wetland was already the lawyer for that entity is talking about a property off of Pepper Street in the industrial zone, which is going to be flanking the right abutting, I should say, the new town property. It's going to be quite a big complex and take up quite a bit of space because of the outside usage that they need to store this. They actually guillotine the stone. Big boulders will get cut down and guillotined into slabs, and that's how they make this material. From there, it gets taken off the property with trucks and pallets fulls, and off it goes to the marketplace. So that is what's being worked on with inlands and wetlands last night, which is on its way to the P&Z next. Bill has been involved with a few smoke shops that are coming to existing spaces up on 25. There's 2 of them that are setting up shop. One is already opened. Again, we probably could talk to them too if they want to do something about ribbon cuttings. We have a couple liquor stores trying to get up on 25, as you already heard the rumble of that probably. So that's just waiting for documentation and state approvals, to allow them to go there. So again, that's not a 2-month process. That could be, 6 months to a year to get that finalized, and then set up the shop and get the permits in place and do the work and whatnot. So, but it's coming. It's not that it's not coming. Crown Pizza, as you saw, has entered Monroe from Trumbull. They've done a ton of work to that little yellow building next to Dutchess, as you know where it is. I just I'm amazed on how much they've done to that building. So I am excited to look forward to seeing how it looks inside. I know what they did to the outside. My gosh. So they've spent a ton of money there already. God bless them. So they're coming to open up a new pizza shop. It's going to be an additional one to the Trumbull site that they currently have. We just talked about Noble Gas finally got opened up. That project, believe it or not, because I was working with those developers, you know how long it took for Noble Gas to start its discussion, to get to Inlands, to get through P&Z, and to open up the night before Thanksgiving? That was an 8-year journey. We started that 8 years ago, believe it or not. And here we are. So these things, you know, that's just the timeline on some of these projects, the way they work out. The developers don't want to put up buildings until they have commitment from more than one tenant. You know, they can't afford to put up a building and find out that nobody wants to rent it. So there's a lot of pre-work that goes into this. There's an awful lot of, there's a million moving parts to it. It's not easy. You may have heard at the last P&Z meeting, those have been going on till 11 o'clock as well. All these nice volunteers have been working so diligently. Mixed use was finally approved this last meeting. So we do have a regulation now in the book that we formalized that we can allow mixed use in our town, which is going to open up a whole new caveat of opportunities. And we already have a few already on in the pipeline. So a lot of this language that was trying to be drafted and crafted was already with 3 different projects in mind that they're chomping at the bit to spend their money to start digging holes for foundations. So it's not like create the language and hope they come. We had it done just the opposite. We had the intent of coming, but they couldn't come without the language. So it took us almost 2 years to get this language in the books, and it culminated last month where they finally adopted it. So
I'm sorry to interrupt. James Goldstein, can you just, I missed what mixed use was. Did I?
yeah,
I did.
no,
So
yeah, mixed. Yeah, sure, of course, Jim. You know, mixed use meaning that there's retail space on the bottom floor and apartments on the second floor.
That's what I thought you said. When you came through on the meeting, it sounded something different. So
I'm sorry. I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
I didn't realize I was breaking up.
I thought it was something else. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah. So, you know, so we have that property on 25 on the border of Trumbull and Monroe. We started that also 2 years ago. I went to the town of Trumbull and said, look, you know, we really need some positive experiences between the 2 towns, and let's work on this together. And they agreed. And this is the project that we were talking about. Here we are 2 years later. It was finally the mixed use language was finally put in place so that that project can actually start to, you know, be shovel ready. And we're trying to get there now next, because again, these gentlemen that I've been working with, they already have all the plans, they have all the details already drawn out, ready to go. Now that the language is in place, we really can jumpstart this next part of the process. So, you know, that's one of them. It's going to be 40 apartments in Monroe, mostly 1 bedroom. This one project I'm referencing, with probably about, I don't know, it was 50,000 square feet of commercial space underneath it, which is going to be abutting the walking path back there. You know, the rails, the trails path. So these units will be overlooking that pretty area. I know he has a couple prospects for clients to come in for the business side. You know, there's a bicycle shop that wants to go in there so they can play off of the rails to trails that's right behind the building, which is going to be great. There's going to be some shared office space, you know, like they do nowadays, where you're going to be able to work on the property in a shared space for the purpose of running your business. If you wanted to go to that kind of a little unit. So, you know, we're excited about that. And of course, the town of Trumbull is being cooperative. They're going to let them tap into the sewer line. The Monroe side is going to be able to tap into the Trumbull side for the sewer for that facility, which is very nice of them. And makes the job an awful lot easier to make it conform to building codes and zoning issues. There's a, and we've talked about it before at this table. There's a senior housing Now, this language was put in place for senior housing. The senior housing, which is going to be, we're talking to them now. Bill and I and Ken met with them. Jesus, it was last summer, I think it was. But we toured their other facilities they have in New Canaan, and they do a great job. They plan on putting 50 units for senior housing, which is going to be low to moderate income housing, which is another hot buzzword right now within our state of Connecticut. The pressure from Hartford by the legislator to put in low to moderate income housing is a requirement of every single municipality. All 169 towns are supposed to be focusing on this and having a 10% commitment of availability in their town. That's the goal by the governor, and apparently he's driving hard on that. So this puts us out in front of that issue because we're being proactive to bring it on. This one particular group that we're dealing with is actually favorable in the fact that it's not a nonprofit entity. It's actually going to pay taxes, which is what we're working towards. So that's another mixed use kind of thing. They will be bringing in some businesses into that complex, hairdressers and so forth, physical therapy groups. So that's why they're sort of getting into the into the language of mixed use a little bit for that particular facility. They've already tested, done their pilot holes to make sure that the septic's going to hold 50 units. So again, they've been doing a lot of pre-work, waiting for this language to come into play. That's how critical this language, waiting for this language has been. Pondview, which is the pile of rubble next to Dunkin' Donuts. We met with a gentleman out of Florida, a developer who has an unbelievable concept of what apartment life can be. It is high-end, high luxury. It almost looks like something out of RCI magazine. If you saw what he's done, he's got a few projects in Connecticut already, and he plans on trying to do the same thing there on that site where that rubble currently sits. All of this within the mind of how we worded that mixed use to allow for this privilege. Now, they're all staged, they're all ready to go. They all want to talk to the P&Z group and the inlands and wetlands. They want to get approvals. They want to work with the state because they own that road. So they have to talk about, getting in and out of those properties and parcels. All that's been underway now all this past year on all of these projects. But again, without the mixed use language, none of it was permissible. But now we have that in play. You've heard about the POCD, which is the blueprint of Monroe. That's the Bible on how you're going to grow your town and do all the things that the town is trying to accomplish from living, working, and residing in our town. And so that's some event that we're culminating very soon. December 7th, I think, is the date for that meeting, which is pivotal. I don't even know if our town realizes how critical this is. You do this little arrangement. It's not little, it's huge. We've been working on this all year as well. And some of the group here that's assembled have been instrumental in trying to deliver information to these workout sessions. You do this once every 10 years. And that's the blueprint of where you head from an economic development, from a planning and zoning perception, to the kind of housing stock you're going to have, to what you're going to do about your schools. I mean, it's all encompassing. So we spent a long time working on this, and I want to say it's December 7th, if I'm remembering what Rick Schultz told me, was the meeting for that, to try to come to a conclusion and have our consultant, which we've hired a company that helped us orchestrate this. They're going to actually, spell out all of the research they've done, all the computations and compulations that they've created to put it into a format that's ready to go to a draft, which will then be again tweaked and whatnot to conclusion. So you'll hear more about that because it's going to come up very quickly. Wait a minute, no, not December 7th. What am I saying? December 7th already happened. Bill, when is that day? Was that the 14th then? Am I thinking?
On the POCD?
Yeah, what was that Rick was telling us was going to be the final night to discuss this?
I don't have my notes on that, Ray.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I thought it was December 7th or December 7th, I think, was the mixed use, which we did just the other night. So December 14th, I think it is, that is when the POCD. I haven't seen the announcement of that yet, by the way. I'm just talking out loud, but
Now that we're doing those meetings virtually, I update them right there online while we're doing it. And I don't write it on the piece of paper, and I don't print out the 25 pages. Hold on.
yeah. Well, Bill's looking that up. I mean, Ole Soccer over there, well, you may know what that is. You know, that piece is being looked at right now to be developed. People have come to talk to us about that large parcel. You already see that across from the Big White parking lot, Standard Gas bought that nice family's gas station business, and they're in there right now repairing it, replacing it, and getting that ready to turn into a Standard Oil gas station. Prushko was the other owners, and again, he sold that over a year and a half, 2 years ago almost, and now finally they've been getting their permission to get started to rebuild that gas station to start going forward. So there's an awful lot going on, and there's plenty more besides that. So for a little sleepy town that we don't hear a whole lot going on, there's an awful lot going on. But again, everything takes years.
Ray, yeah, Ray, this is Mary Hall. This is all really, I'm sorry, I got my camera off. This is all really, really good stuff. Is there any way for like the next meeting agenda that we could get, maybe we could get on the agenda a list of each of these places so that we can follow through? Because it's kind of hard to follow through with, obviously you're on a lot of these calls that some of the rest of us aren't on, and it's really good information, so that, we can take, we have it in front of us, and we have the notes for it.
Yeah, I'll itemize it in the minutes, and I'll make sure you all get a copy of the minutes.
Okay, great.
Because I'll put it in the minutes to make sure I'm detailing it properly anyway. But yes,
Okay.
And there's a lot more that I haven't mentioned yet that are going on, and so again, when you're talking to your neighbors or friends or social media, I mean, there's an awful lot going on that people don't even realize, and I don't blame them, because unless you see the brick and mortar, you would say there's nothing going on, But if they ever understood the process to get something to go to brick and mortar, it is not for the light at heart, because you have to have a lot of patience. It's a 2-year to 3-year process to get to the finish line, seemingly, in our town. And there's been already 2 years lapse, so that's why a lot of these things are percolating now. So this is good. We're at the right time, and if this COVID breaks, even better yet. That'll help us even expedite some of these things to go forward with a much better environment. So I think we're at the right time with everything ready to pop as far as all these approvals and all these plans being laid out for the planning and zoning department to put their arms around. You've heard about the lumber yard, on how John Kimball is working hard down there to get that resurrected. He's been through the inlands and wetlands last night again. He was with the P&Z a few times already. It sounds to me, again, my own personal observation, it sounds like they're buying into it. They're going to let him do his project down there, seemingly. But again, they haven't stamped it yet, but we'll see how that goes. There'll be more meetings on this next month, and he's looking for his approval to put his project together down at the lumberyard. So the lumberyard soon will have, life back in it down there, if he gets his way. Inlands and Wetlands last night listened to it. They sounded pretty impressed by it, which leads me to believe they're going to approve him going to the next step, which is going to the P&Z. We'll see what the P&Z does with it. They've already seen the perception of what's going to go on. They liked it too. They didn't make a formal vote on it, but again, it's already been set up. It's staged. He's got drawings. He's got renderings. You know, how long will it take him to start once he gets the approval? If he should get the approval, you know, who knows? But I mean, you know, that, so you heard about that. The quarry is being filled back in allegedly. They spent last night another 2 hours on that one again. It sounds like it's going to get filled in. The inlands and wetlands were pretty pleased to the best of their ability that they could appreciate the kind of renovations that are, renovation is not the right word, remediation, excuse me, that's required to bring that into an habitable place again. So it sounded to me, based on their discussion last night till 11 o'clock, that they're going to give it its blessing eventually, that they can go forward and start filling up that quarry and eventually develop it into something else, you know. But they have to backfill it first before they can make it level. Once it's level, you could put a building or two or 5 or 10, who knows what that will be. It's 73 acres, so you can do an awful lot with that piece. So, you know, it sounds like that's going to go in the right direction. It has been, they've been discussing it now all of this year, frankly. And no one said no. So I'm only assuming that probably then it's going to say yes, or they wasted a whole year. So there's an awful lot going on. Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to make sure that you understood how much activity there is in our good town of Monroe.
Hey,
Great.
Ray,
Yes.
it looks like from my chicken scratch, it looks like it's the 14th.
Yeah, the 14th. Okay, I knew it was the 7th and the 14th. The 7th was getting the granting of the mixed use, and the 14th is going to be the POCD formality of finalizing the draft so that it could actually go to print. Then it could be kicked around a little bit more by, you know, by the consulting group and Ken Kellogg and some other committees. Our committee, EDC, will look at this as the draft status, and then, you know, we'll make our recommendations, which I'll share with each of you, of course. You know, what we get. I don't know what it looks like. I haven't seen it yet. So I think that's what the 14th is. So mark it down. It's going to be another one of those meetings with P&Z to give this gentleman the floor to explain what is good for Monroe, what's lacking for Monroe, and how his POCD will hopefully fix these kinds of concerns that the town has assembled. Concerns for the right housing stock, for the kind of schooling systems we have, for the kind of transportation issues that we have or need, and so forth and so on, you know. So that's why mixed use language going in there is pivotal, because I'm sure we've already talked to the group that was heading this up, that mixed use was very critical for us to go forward to try to keep, you know, the millennials, you know, young people coming out of college. They don't seem to stay in our town. They go elsewhere to find jobs. They go elsewhere to live because, you know, everybody wants to be in Fairfield, or everybody wants to be in New Haven, because it's, you know, right now the restaurants are shut down, but in Fairfield, they're all looking for that restaurant row down there, you know. Everybody wants that scene. So we've got to start to rethink what Monroe has to offer to that younger population if we want to try to be viable and create some energy in our town. So we're going to hear a lot more about that. The senior housing complex also fixes some of that because of the low-income housing for seniors who have to leave our town because they can't afford $9,000 a year property tax. You know, when they're making, you know, $2,000 a month Social Security income, so they leave our town. You know, and then what's the impact having on our schools population and the budget to manage that school system? So that's why the mixed use, we've sort of capped it off at 1 bedroom, so that we hopefully, you know, can make sure that we don't overburden our educational system, which can be damaging. And we obviously want the best results for our students with the right attention. So yeah, so I think I probably spoke more than I wanted to. I'm sorry. Do we have any questions or any concerns, any thoughts?
I think everybody's
Good.
shaking. I know, Ray, you're not on video, but I think everybody's shaking their head no.
Okay, good. No, I am on video. I am here on my iPad. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so we want to welcome Jim. It's been a delight to have you this evening. You sound like you know a lot about social media, which we could use some skill sets in that arena, to say the least. So we'll pull at your expertise, if you don't mind, to help us in that arena someday as we go forward. Again, if there's no other questions, I guess I can move for adjournment then.
Well, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for, welcoming me, and, I'm here to help. I want to apologize, Raymond, when you first spoke, I thought you said mixed juice, and that's what I
Oh.
didn't. That's why I was like, mixed juice. Like, what are we opening in town? I know mixed.
Yeah.
I know we mixed use property, so I just want to clarify. I thought that's what you said at first, and my apologies.
No, that's okay. I'm sorry.
What are we doing in
problem.
town with mixed juice? I'm like, I'm intrigued. You got me interested now.
Yeah.
A new juice bar.
Yeah, my
I want
daughter
to
loves
know-
those juice bars. Yeah, she loves those juice bars. We could use one.
It's what I thought. It's what I thought. It sounds exciting what we have going on in our town, and besides what we have for great businesses, we have phenomenal residents in town. We really do. We have a really good, steady, group of people, and I know Lauren could attest to it as well. When you look at housing sales and everything else, and I know some of the reports recently just came out of the age group of what's buying and what's selling, and it's just really good to hear about the town and hear some of the exciting things that are happening. And I know anything takes time. I would love, you said about Fairfield Row. I lived in Fairfield prior, and I always said if we could take from Country Pizza to 707 Main and redevelop that like downtown Fairfield with just restaurants and destinations,
Right.
it would be the best thing ever. And I said that 15 years ago when I first moved up here. So it's interesting that you said about Restaurant Row. It would take a lot to do here, but it could be really fun. So thank you again, everybody, for welcoming me. And anybody celebrating Hanukkah and anything tonight, happy Hanukkah to everybody. And I'm here for the committee. And if anything I could do to bring to it, please let me know on a phone call or an email away.
Great. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, everybody have happy holidays and stay safe, and looking forward to 2021.
Yeah, Christine, thank you so much for helping getting this organized tonight too. We really
Yes,
appreciated it.
Sorry
And,
about
I-
that little stumble at the
Yeah.
beginning. We'll try
Yeah,
to
and
fix it out.
I guess I'll call the meeting to close at 8:25.